Hello everyone, my name is Sohaib and today I'm going to teach you guys 5 colorful idioms which will help you speak more like a native English speaker. Again, as I mentioned before in my previous videos, idioms help improve your English in many different ways. First of all, they make you sound more sophisticated, you end up sounding more fluent, and you end up sometimes making the sentences more easier. A lot of times we have really long sentences and idioms help us shrink those down. So let's get on with today's topic. Okay, so the first colorful idiom I'm going to teach you guys is out of the blue. Okay? Again, as I mentioned before in the intro, we're going to be talking about idioms that are colorful, as in that they will be using many different colors in them. For example, blue, red, green, black. We'll talk about idioms like that. So the first one is out of the blue. Now, what does that mean? It means something that happened unexpectedly. Something that you were not expecting has happened. That's when you use this idiom. And the usage, like in my previous videos I explained, an idiom can either be a whole phrase or it can be used as a part of a phrase. Out of the blue is used as a part of the phrase. Okay, for example, here's a sample sentence in which we used out of the blue. Alright, let's read it out, shall we? Yesterday, out of the blue, he asked me to marry him. As in, yesterday, let's remind ourselves, what's the meaning of out of the blue? It is something that happened unexpectedly. So let's reiterate the sentence with the meaning. Yesterday, unexpectedly, he asked me to marry him. But instead, if we say out of the blue, it makes it sound more like a native speaker. And it makes you sound like you know what you're saying, what you're doing. Using idioms makes you more like a native speaker, and I cannot stress that enough. Alright, so the next color on our list of colorful idioms is green, as in green light. Now, just for the sake of explaining this idiom, I'm going to say give someone the green light. The actual idiom that we're going to talk about is this. But because it wouldn't have made sense if I just said this word, I added these extra words in there. Okay? So what does giving someone the green light actually mean? It means to give permission. And you can remember that by reminding yourself what the traffic light colors mean. Red means stop, yellow means to slow down or start, and green means to go. Green as in to give permission. Alright? Alright, now here's an example in which we use the idiom green light, or to give someone a green light in a sentence. In the context of this sentence, I'm going to explain to you guys, we're most likely talking about an office environment. So for you guys who are working, this idiom is very useful for you. You can use it amongst your colleagues and it won't sound informal. Alright? So let's read out the example. I was given the green light to start this project. Okay, now let's remind ourselves what green light means. It means to give permission. When you give someone the green light, you're giving them the permission. In the case of this sentence, we're saying, I was given the permission. But instead of saying permission, we used green light, which helps us sound more like a native speaker. And I'm sure by the end of this video, you guys are going to be tired of me saying this over and over again. Okay, the third idiom on our list, we'll be using the color white, as in a white lie. Okay, you can sort of understand what we're trying to say here is we're talking about a lie. Alright, let's further see what this actually means. The meaning of a white lie is to tell a lie that's not very serious. Now, what I mean by that exactly is that sometimes there are certain lies we tell people, or sometimes we're told certain lies that even if they are said, they don't really harm us or harm the other person. For example, I can say that I can lie about the chair being blue, even though it might be gray. It doesn't really harm anyone, right? So we call those type of lies a white lie, a lie that doesn't really harm anyone. But they're still lies, so that's why we call them a lie. Anyway, let's move on to the example of this idiom, and I'm sure you guys will understand this even better after I show it to you. Alright, so here's an example of how to use the idiom a white lie in a sentence. I don't think you should get in trouble for telling a white lie. Again, let's remind ourselves what white lie means. It means a lie that is not very serious, or a lie that doesn't really harm anyone, right? So instead of saying that whole phrase, a lie that is not very serious or a lie that doesn't harm anyone, we can just use the word a white lie. And again, just for clarification's sake, I'm gonna remind you guys what a white lie really means, and I'll give you a little scenario. Imagine yourself in a classroom and the teacher asks, have you been paying attention? Sometimes when we're sitting in a classroom, we end up losing focus or not paying attention. But we still say, yes ma'am, I was paying attention. Telling the teacher you were paying attention even though you lost focus is a white lie. You see how that was a lie that didn't really harm anyone, really? Like, it doesn't have any direct harm to anyone, and it's not very serious even if you lie about it. So that's what I mean by what a white lie is. And most of the time when people talk about a white lie, they're usually trying to group up these lies into one and just say white lie in general. It just helps you say it better, and again, it shows that you have a strong control of the English language. All right, the next color on our list of colorful idioms is the color red. Red as in caught red-handed. Now, what does this mean? It means to catch someone in the act of doing something. And I'm sure you guys probably have heard of this idiom before. So I'll give you guys an example just in case for those who haven't heard of it. Okay, let's look at an example for being caught red-handed. All right? So the example I have for you guys here is, he was caught red-handed stealing those candy bars. Again, let's remind ourselves what caught red-handed actually means. It means to catch someone in the act of doing something. So this person in the sentence, they claim that they have caught another person in the act of doing, which is in this scenario, stealing candy bars, right? Now, oftentimes, especially in TV shows and movies, people or actors, they use the word caught red-handed when we're talking about criminal activity. Aside from that, sometimes in comedic scenarios and in shows such as sitcoms and other comedies, people use the word caught red-handed for even minor acts that character might find slightly offensive, just for a comedic effect. However, usually when we're talking about caught red-handed in the real world, what we mean is we're usually talking about someone we have caught doing something that they should not be doing. Even though the idiom means to be caught in the act of doing something, in modern times it is usually used for the act of doing something wrong. Alright, so the last color in our list of colorful idioms is the color black. And I know some of you might argue that black is a shade and not a color, but for the sake of this video, it is a color, okay? So the idiom I have for you guys here is black sheep, right? What does that mean exactly? Well, a black sheep is someone who is an outcast or an odd one from a group, right? Someone who's kind of different from a group of people. Now, if I give you a sentence in the next take, you'll understand this idiom a lot better. All right, so here's an example of how to use black sheep in the sentence. Rachel is the black sheep of the family, whereas everyone else is a doctor. Alright, so let's remind ourselves what black sheep actually means. It means an odd one out, or an outcast, or someone who is different from a group of people. In the context of this sentence, we're talking about Rachel and her family. In her family, everyone's a doctor. Rachel is the only one who is an artist. So we refer to that as someone who is a black sheep, someone who is different, an odd one, or even sometimes an outcast from a group of people. Alright, so today we talked about 5 colorful idioms with you guys. I used the color blue, red, green, black, and white. I hope you guys understood this video. Leave a like if you liked it. Comment below on what you thought about it. Like, share, comment with everyone you know. And if you would like to take my classes, you can go to your nearest Lingo Center and sign up today. Thank you.